welcome to a specialized prenatal and postnatal yoga teacher training course introduction program. So the real program starts 12th September. It's a 60 hours online course and it's a 9 months journey. Everyone is like, why 9 months journey? Because in the ecosystem, we have many prenatal and postnatal yoga teacher training course, which ranges from 1 month, 15 days, 3 months, but not 9 months. Why 9 months? I believe motherhood doesn't deserve a crash course. It deserves a structured training, not a rush program where each mentors, each teacher who's working closely with you can attend your doubts. It's not just a content delivery, it's more than content delivery. It is making this program like an applied science where you just don't finish as well after the content delivery is done. You get trained to teach. So, as we say always, that we have accommodated medical science, Ayurveda, yoga, both three together as one integrated approach. We are just not saying this one integrated approach because it's a trend, but we are saying it because the content has been already made. First. Second is the content is not the program content, the way you are trained, the way you are upskilled. It is not made with an intention that you deliver it, but we make it with a purpose that you are trained enough to know where you can teach your student to practice yoga, and you know where you cannot and you have to draw the line, and the other experts comes into picture. So that's why it's a one integrated approach. Now, why this course? So friends, the first and foremost thing, I don't say that with this program you become system ready, you become market industry ready. This industry ready only happens when your doubts are addressed. And the real doubt comes when you start applying. After the content delivery, after the training, after the teaching is done, and you start applying, then the real doubts comes. And those doubts need to be addressed. And that's why this entire program is structured in such a way that it gives you a hand holding, a mentorship, a guidance under your mentors. This is clinically grounded. This point two will be answered when I'll speak about our mentors. So it will come later on. It is holistic. Yes, there is yoga, there is Ayurveda, there is medical science. This program is purely practical driven because if you'll see module 2 and module 4. So module 2 is Asana with Anirudh Gupta and module 4 is Breathwork, Chanting, Meditation with Samanta, Duggal. However, the existence of module 2, module 4 is coexistence with module 1 and module 3. Module 1 is by Dr. Vineeta Ketkar, where we are studying physiology and psychology. And module 3 is Ayurveda, where you study it with Dr. Sharon Samuel. So, but the sense of this program is practical because the way this program has been structured. Hellomyyoga didn't enter or didn't launch this program only just with the sake of that we want to launch the program. We have addressed the real-time challenges. We realized where are the gaps, and to fulfill those gaps, that's why this program is holistic and practical driven. This program is purely therapeutic, which you will get to know when you will interact with our teachers. The purpose is that, friends, as we say that parenting, each parenting is unique. Similarly, each motherhood is a journey is unique. And this motherhood journey has to be like when you addresses mothers, you need to customize what you are offering them. And you have to address their physical, mental, and emotional challenges or, hiccups. What are those hiccups? And that only comes when you are trained enough. And this training can be done only with people who are clinically grounded. And that's why our mentors, like I'll speak about them later, but our mentors are so well clinically grounded that they guide you that what are the red flags, where you have to stop, where you have to actually ensure that your student practices. Because there are a lot of challenging situations with mothers, like the moment they conceive, from first trimester to second trimester to third trimester. It's a huge journey. It's a huge journey. And when especially complications occurs, they become, they have to go for a bed rest, then another level of practice, like not maybe the physical practice, but what else, the breath work, meditation, what else can come in. So yoga has something for everyone, but how you have to customize it, this program prepares you for that. I have spoken a lot about the content and how this program has been created. And now let's talk about how this training for 9 months happens. So it's a 35 hours self-study and 25 hours Zoom live question answer sessions. As soon as you register for this program, you get an access to the dashboard. In the dashboard itself, you have recordings of each lecture, you have assignments, you have assessments. It's flexibly, it's quite interactive program. It has been flexibly created. You globally access, you travel, you study. That's how this program has been created, that while you travel also you can study. But when I say that 35 hours is self-study and 25 hours is Zoom live, that doesn't mean that all these self-study lectures are given to you in one go. As I said, that it is a very well structured program. So first there will be module one. Module one will have a set of self-study programs and set of Zoom live lectures with the teacher. Then after completing module one, we'll have module two. Again, we'll have set of self-study lectures and set of live Zoom lectures with teachers. Then come module three and then come module four. But this entire content can be completed in 3 to 4 months. Why we are, stretching it for 9 months? Why are we doing it? So, friends, the reason is this 9 months make it this program from only teacher training course program to an upskilling journey. So, why that pause happens is in that pause, we want you to, whatever you have learned from the recorded lectures and from those live question answer sessions, we want you to absorb it. And yoga is not something theoretical. You have to practice it. You have to practice in each of your class. You have to practice on your students. You have to practice on yourselves. And then doubts comes. And after that pause, when you have absorbed the content, then the real time question comes, and the mentors are so very well trained and so very well into the system of teaching that they know when the student is asking the question, this person is asking from after practicing or just theoretically studying the lectures. Giving you an example that how these 35 hours of self-study lectures and 25 hours Zoom live lectures are. So if you look at this module 2 program schedule, and the module 2 is a prenatal yoga asana with Anirudh Gupta. And here there are around 26, 27 self-study lectures. But these 26, 27 self-study lectures are in between sandwiched with live Zoom lectures. So you'll see the green highlighted lectures are live Zoom lectures with Anirudh, and the white highlighted lectures are self-study lectures. So for an example, on 24th, your module 2 starts, but it is the first self-study lecture. But on 25th, you have a live Zoom lecture with the teacher. Then again, we supply you the self-study lectures on a particular timeline. After that, we again have some live Zoom lectures with Anirudh. So it's not that we supply you in complete go the self-study lectures. There are in between live Zoom lectures with the teachers to introduce you the concept and to then later address your question answer session with what you have learned. Because if your learning is in the right aligned direction as per the teacher, then you'll be able to practice also well. And this also reflects that how much you are following the lectures as soon as it is up on your dashboard. So similarly, we have module 1 calendar also ready with us, module 3 also, and module 4 also. This module 2, I just have shown you with an example that when we say 35 hours of self-study lecture, it doesn't mean that we give you all the lectures in one go. These lectures follow timetable. They follow a flow. And in that flow, in between, there are live Zoom lectures sandwiched with the purpose that you get hand holding with the teachers. So this is purely a training with a purpose that once the program get over, you are ready to teach. Because there are a lot of time when we are speaking to the students who are planning and who are joining this program, there are a lot of students who have already done prenatal, postnatal, but still they are hesitant to practice. And why they are hesitant? Because they have so many doubts. And these doubts need to be addressed. And these real-time doubts comes only once you learn and then start practicing. So the pause in between after completing all the modules is only with the purpose that you apply those learnings in your real-time classrooms, or if you do not have your real-time classrooms, you should apply it on yourself and then come back with the questions in the later Zoom sessions with the teachers. The pillars of this program are our mentors, the backbone. So the first module is by Dr. Vineeta Ketkar. Dr. Vineeta Ketkar is somebody who has more than 45 years of experience closely working with females' health, be it menstrual cycle, be it pregnancy, postpartum care, be it postmenopausal care. She's been extensively working. She's a medical yoga practitioner. She's professionally an MBBS who is also running her clinic as a physician and also has her medical yoga centers in Pune. So she has been extensively working on women healthcare, and she's working on the first module, which is physiology and psychology of antenatal and postnatal women with yogic and medical perspective. Usually you'll not see psychology covered so extensively, but here we have covered physiology and psychology hand in hand, because friends, gone the days when the physical health was the priority. Now the mental health is also priority. I always say postpartum depression somewhere lies in between the each trimester, and the manifestation of that stress happens somewhere from there itself. So that need to be addressed. You need to know the person who is walking into your clinic for prenatal care or postnatal care. You need to address what this person is, and for that you need to know the physiology and psychology. Um, I don't say in that depth that you yourself is a psychologist, but at least that helps you in customizing your yoga classes. Then comes module 2, Prenatal Yoga Asana. That's by Anirudh Gupta. He's a Hatha yoga expert. He's a specialist in restorative and therapeutic yoga. He's the author of the book Prenatal and Post Prenatal Yoga. I would like to tell something that I always say for this person, his spiritual laboratory is asana. He has been extensively working on asana precision, and somewhere he's an appropriate person to answer this also, that why a yoga therapist is unreplaceable by physiotherapists. There are a lot of students who are coming to us and asking that now in prenatal, postnatal yoga care, physiotherapists are also coming in. So how a yoga expert, a yoga therapist is unreplaceable. Anirudh is somebody who is working for more than 2 decades closely with women, especially pregnant females. And he has handled some of the very challenging cases as well. He has closely worked with a gynecologist also. He has been referred, he's one of the name referred by not only gynecologists but orthopedicians as well. So when it comes therapeutic yoga, he's the face. And therefore we have adapted his book Prenatal Yoga as a part of the module 2. Then comes module 3. Ayurveda is something which we just cannot say no to, because as soon as the female conceive, she might have been inorganic before that, but as soon as she conceives, she become purely an organic person. And it is very important, if you are a yoga instructor, you need to know, you already know physiology and psychology, you need yoga asana, but when she comes for Ayurvedic lifestyle tips also, you should have a guidance of it, and you should also know where to draw the line. And there Dr. Sharon Samuel, who is a mentor for Module 3, who's an Ayurveda doctor, who's head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology in some of the leading Ayurvedic medical institutions. She has closely worked on fertility and hormonal health, psychosomatic, postmenopausal, premenopausal, then menstrual disorders, preventive and rejuvenative yoga and lifestyle tips. She has been giving all these kind of tips to her patients who are walking in her clinic every day. And now she want to help yoga instructors also to understand what those practical tips and lifestyle tips can help. So in her module 3, she is taking care of not only uh, the journey during the trimester, but she's also taking before conceiving, then after delivery. So as she says that Ayurveda is a blueprint so of how the womb or the baby develops. And this is what Dr. Sharon Samuel will be teaching through her module 3. Then comes module 4. It's by Samanta Duggal, and it's about breathwork, chanting, and meditation. I always say that breathwork, chanting, and meditation helps females. It helps in anchoring. It helps in taking care of the emotional, mental health. But I always say that, friends, in prenatal, postnatal, the first trimester is very tricky, and especially for the people who have IVF. Now they are on bed rest. There are many cases who become a bit immobile. They have to have a stringent bed rest. Now for those people, they cannot have yoga asana. What they have? So yoga works for them here. Breath work, chanting, and meditation can always help them to address their mental challenges and ensure that the cellular unit or the layer by layer development in the womb can be taken care by the vibrations they are bringing in through chanting, through meditation, through breath work. So, yes, this entire module, all the modules make this program complete, and the teachers are like the backbone of this program. Coming to the fee structure, it is offering amazing experienced teachers knowledge and helping you, giving you guidance to apply it and get ready to teach those females who need that mental support, physical support, and emotional support. Help them to thrive their motherhood, in short. So, yes, the fee structure is as it reflects on the screen: 59,999 for Indian participants, and international participants, $999. But we have all kinds of installments. We have all kinds of special arrangements. If you feel that you are meant for this program, then even this structure, fee structure, cannot stop you. We are there to help you out. If you want to be part of this program, we'll make it happen anyhow. So you can always write to us, call to us, and connect with us to understand that where and how we can make sure that you become part of the program, you are accommodated well. So now I will invite one after the another our pillars. Our first pillar, Dr. Vineeta Ketkar, who is here with us. So friends, few lines about Dr. Vineeta Ketkar. However, I don't need to see any sheet for Dr. Vineeta Ketkar because we have been closely working with her on different programs, different modules. She is the female who has been working closely with women out there to help them not on their pregnancy, but before pregnancy, in menstrual cycles, whatever challenges you have, she's there. Uh, During pregnancy, post-pregnancy, menopausal, post-menopausal. She takes care of women in different stages, and not only with her medical science, but with her yogic perspective. She, after MBBS, after completing her MBBS, she has closely worked with Guruji BKS Iyengar, Dr. S.P. Karindikar, and after that, she has created Gnosis Medical Yoga Foundation. And she has been constantly working with females at Gnosis Medical Yoga Foundation with strong and full-fledged female team to help the world out there. So welcoming, ma'am.
Thank you, Shivani.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much to be part of our program.
Yes, it's our pleasure too. So, Shivani, you have infused so much of energy in the program that you, after mentioning the fee, you were saying that it is appears to be expensive, but I will like to say that it is exclusive. It is the exclusiveness which everybody should remember rather than paying attention to the fees as she has structured it so well. And Shivani, so much of genuinity is there in your words and in your talking. Whatever you want to offer, you are offering the best. So I really appreciate Hello My Yoga platform to bring us to meet the students or the professionals, yoga professionals who want to enhance their practice and reach the society and to help the people. And here, the subject prenatal and postnatal is of course very dear to me and to all females, as well as I appreciate Anirudh Gupta ji to help and work in this such a challenging zone. And now it is becoming more and more challenging because initially the marriages used to be around 20, 22, 25 years of age, and the first baby used to be born to her at the age of 25, 26, 27. Now the marriages itself are happening at the age of 30, 31. By the time it gets settled and they decide to go for a baby, the age is already 32, 33, and the fertility itself is a question. And as you all know, everybody is trying very hard to go for the natural conception. And if at all they need, then they have to go for the intervention or artificial reproductive techniques. And as the life is advancing for all the females who are working or non-working, but most of them are working and they are finding a very difficult balance to have a career and his personal life and that motherly instinct to get fulfilled, the whole balance becomes very tricky, very challenging. That everybody is excited in the family when that UPT is positive, that is urine pregnancy is positive, but there is a fear in her mind that how am I going to face it? So I do understand, and all yoga professionals should understand, as rightly said by Shivani, the psychological status. In previous days, it was to be, wow, it is so nice, I'm pregnant. And nowadays it is, oh my God, I'm pregnant. The reaction is like, oh, how am I going to deal with it? So psychology plays a very important role. Considering her psychological status, she's highly educated, she's carrying the responsibility of her job, probably running the family as well, and the whole lot of things which are going to come, which she knows. But let me share with you what she knows and what is going to happen is entirely different, because I have witnessed it with my younger daughter-in-law, who is a Wharton graduate MBA from Wharton University in US. When she became pregnant, and then of course the 9 months went smoothly, and she delivered a nice granddaughter of mine. Her name is Anahita. And when she was 6 months old and the maternity leave was over, she was unable to join to the duty. So she said, she calls me I. It was so difficult to understand myself. So much of transformation has occurred in my personality, which I could not imagine myself. So that's what happens. So we have to understand the physiological aspect and of course the psychological aspect right from first trimester, as Shivani has said. First trimester being the tricky, but before that, all yoga professionals should know what are the contraindications for yogic study, because ultimately every pregnant woman who is going to come to yoga professional is bound to ask to the gynecologist, can I go ahead with pregnancy yoga or prenatal yoga? And that in that case, gynecologist should be sure of the yoga professional who knows the physiology. What are the contraindications? Like for example, previous history of abortion is okay, but we are going to provide you the notes which are mentioning the contraindications of prenatal yogic study. Yogic study means, as Shivani has rightly said, yogic postures may not be indicated, but breathwork, mantra chanting will be definitely useful to her. But a precaution. One most important thing is precaution, because every pregnancy is always a precious pregnancy, but latter elderly primates are posing a lot of complications like pregnancy induced hypertension, pregnancy induced diabetes, that is gestational diabetes, what we call, and all other monitored things. Makes it very important for the yoga professional to know how to form the case paper, which we're going to provide in the study material. What are do's and don'ts? What are the contraindications before you take the case in your hand? So yoga professional has to learn to read the ultrasound reports, all various blood reports, what is the importance, and then of course where it is indicated, but there is a fear in her mind that supposingly I'm having pregnancy induced hypertension, can I do yogic postures or can I work on my breath? Then yes, gestational diabetes, yes. If she is 38-year-old, imagine 38-year-old, 40-year-old. Sometimes there is natural conception, but she is afraid because she knows that age factor is a big hurdle for her. But there should not be any fear. So basically, as far as the psychology is concerned, you have to prepare the pregnant woman absolutely confident, cheerful, pregnant woman so that she should not be afraid of anything and she should be comfortable as the gestation goes ahead. First trimester, nausea, morning sickness, lack of energy, drowsiness. So, what to give, what not to give? Of course, Aniruddha Gupta ji will train you accordingly. Second trimester, she starts gaining the energy. She is very much enthusiastic. So, how to go ahead with the posture sequence? Each posture will be designed as it is mentioned in your notes, and Guptaji will also explain you. Each posture has its own aims. To give you example, as the baby grows in the uterus and the uterus reaches almost the uppermost part of the abdominal cavity, it's difficult, not impossible to do diaphragmatic breathing. So Aniruddhaji will teach us, and the breathwork expert also will teach how to do thoracic breathing right from the first day onwards. Because she is going to depend totally on thoracic breathing. So which are the postures which will work on rib cage? One example. Another is the venous drainage is impaired because of increased intra-abdominal pressure and presence of baby. So the whole venous drainage, the whole lymphatic drainage, how it can be overcome by postures like Padangushthasana. Guptaji is going to train you. So please remember each posture has a aim and the effect. And considering that and understanding that the lady is supposed to practice these postures. Simple thing like Shavasana. I have listened to my grand younger daughter-in-law story, and she said yes, shavasana is very much uh, taught in the US antenatal or prenatal care also. In between two labor pains, she has to practice shavasana. She has to practice conscious relaxation to conserve energy. So these are very useful techniques which will be taught to you by the whole team with a correlation with physiology, with a correlation with psychology. So first will be the yogic posture sequence. Then as she advances further, you have to get connected with that woman as if you are a companion, life, the 9 months companion. Because certain things she cannot share with the doctor because doctors are so much in hurry. Gynecologists especially have so much of workload. They may not be possible to listen to that pregnant lady's questions, some delicate questions, some personal questions. So yoga professional has to become a companion of 9 months. So she delivering a baby and you eating pedas or burfis, and you will become a lifetime friend of her. That's what is yoga. Yoga is union. You should get connected with that pregnant girl, pregnant woman. That's what is important. And of course, forming a case paper, noting down all her investigations, which postures you are going to advise, how is her blood pressure status, how is the sugar status, everything you should know. You should know the anomaly scans. You should know the Doppler studies. You should know what is IUGR, certain terms which will be explained to you in the notes. Intrauterine growth retardation. What are the challenges she is facing? Like Shivani said, it is a IUI baby or it is a IVF baby. You have to know. What are the hurdles which she has already faced before she became pregnant? Everything you have to know so that you will train her and you will talk with her and will listen to her. So we have, of course, explained in the note Shavasana, Pranayam. Then selective postures with props also will be taught to you by Aniruddha sir. And then comes the Onkar chanting and Gayatri mantra, which will prepare her to be cheerful because we want our progeny to be evolved progeny. Everybody wants my progeny should be evolved progeny, physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually also. That is what is everybody's desire, and that's why all the girls, all the women, not girls, all the women are definitely taking an appointment of gynecologist, but taking an appointment of yoga professionals also. Almost every lady is asking me that to whom I should approach for prenatal yoga because everybody has understood as Our Mahabharata itself says that intrauterine baby listens to the music, listens to the talk between mother and father, listens to the vibration, feels the vibrations, what is everything is happening around. Don't we observe the COVID babies, the babies who are born in 2020 are different because the whole atmosphere outside was different. So, understanding our culture, understanding our sanskaras, and understanding our whole yogic science applied in a modern way and applied in a modern language to understand so that the gynecologist also should be comfortable. Now, last few words about postnatal. Postnatal care is, Shivani was not very much, I will say, comprehensive in our old days. Like giving dinkache laddu and giving lot of high calorie food was only the mother's role, and not to make her even walk little bit also in the home was that kind of attitude. But now it is totally replaced because the huge weight gain which occurs during pregnancy, it is very difficult for her to come back to her own weight after delivery. So postnatal care really forms a very important mainstay for maintaining her efficacy and her Atma Sanman, the self image, while fulfilling the responsibilities of motherhood. As rightly mentioned by Shivani, postnatal depression should not occur because the whole life changes. I mean, enjoyment of pregnancy is all okay, baby's delivered, very nice, everybody is happy, but she feels caged, constantly changing the diapers and feeding, changing the diapers and feeding, and not allowed to go out of home. That becomes too much for her because she is not used to that kind of life. So again, the postnatal care, you will be continued as a companion to talk with her, share with her, and to work on her physical, psychological personality, that she should be eager to join her work after 6 months or 9 months, whatever it is. I always say womanhood to motherhood, back to womanhood. So for that, postnatal care is very important for to make her feel that she's absolutely the same person, more evolved person. And then the postnatal care definitely should involve the shoulder care, the spine care, the knee care, the tummy care, everything. And that's what Anirudhji will be training you to bring her back to her strong personality, evolved personality, because she's a mother now. Right? So that's the whole comprehensive program Shivani is going to conduct, and I appreciate Shivani for all your efforts and all my well wishes to you. And we all dear students who are going to take admission will be always there to help you to answer your questions. But please remember, after completing the course, your teachers will be your patients. Each pregnant woman will teach you something. So always keep your antennas on to learn. Thank you so much, Shivani.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And indeed, I still remember how did you describe this womanhood to motherhood to womanhood with Khalil Gibran's poem.
Yes,
So that
yes.
I'll never forget. It's still part of my workstation. I still
Okay.
have a copy of it. Thank you so much. And now I invite our next mentor, who is taking care of Module 2 Prenatal Yogasana. He's Anirudh Gupta. He's a Hatha Yoga expert, specialist in restorative and therapeutic yoga. He's author of the book Prenatal Yoga, deeply influenced by the teaching of Pujya Swami Dayanand Saraswati ji, integrating therapeutic principles into his yoga practice and teachings style. In one line, I always say his spiritual laboratory is Yoga Asana. Can I have Anirudh on the screen, please? Thank you so much.
Yeah, so hello and namaste, everyone. I did not wish to, or I had no idea to become a yoga teacher. I was in the world of finance. And as they say, the seed comes into you pretty early, but you don't know, and it takes a little longer time for it to manifest. So in my case, it was exactly that. When my wife was pregnant, somehow I took very keen interest in understanding her pregnancy. And I read medical grade books on pregnancy. And I happened to be uh, with a lot of doctor friends. And like, for example, a very old name, Dr. Bomsi Wadia, who was the dean of JJ in Dean of Gynecology Department at JJ, and many other doctors as such. So, at various functions, dinners, breakfasts, I always had an clinical perspective to talk and understand. But I had no idea I would become a yoga teacher or a prenatal yoga teacher. So when I used to go with my wife to her gynecologist, um, and she used to ask questions to my wife, and I used to answer in kind of technical language. And she used to think I'm a doctor. Then, of course, my wife was the only lady on the floor that she gave birth to a natural baby. And this was in Jaslok Hospital. And our bill was just 4,000 rupees in a private room. So you can imagine. And after that, I trained my daughter with elimination communication. So beyond 5 months, she didn't need a diaper. So she she could communicate with us her need to evacuate, and then we would attend to her. So by 5.5 months, she was ready, and no need of any diaper, wiper, and things like that. That time also, I wasn't learning yoga. I was not. I was in the world of finance. Then 20 years ago, sort of, I got irritated with my financial life, and I said there's something more to it. And I just started attending yoga classes as any normal person would. And it started growing in my bones. And slowly and slowly, I started attending more and more classes, again, not to become a yoga teacher. And my office, I used to do three jobs at one time, not one job. I used to be a foreign finder with Fortis Bank Belgium. I used to be a consultant with Stockholding Corporation of India. And I used to head an institutional stockbroking team for a big stockbroker in Mumbai.
Oh, good.
And you can imagine the kind of back-to-back meetings and things like that. But anyway, so I started learning yoga, and then my friends came over, started asking me to teach. And then I don't know how I got into prenatal yoga. So, in fact, there was my first student. She was a lawyer. And as Vineeta ji said, she was of a little older age, 35, 36 at that time. And I used to pick her up from her home, from her office, drive her to her home. And in between, we used to stop at a gynac. I used to go, with her to the gynac. And instead of the husband explaining the gynac, I used to explain what are her issues. So, so then one time the husband also came along, and the doctor didn't know where to look, who to address. So then I started from that time onwards, I started teaching prenatal yoga. And I think I'm very good at it. And my concept, like as Vineeta ji said, like first trimester, you have to be very careful. You have to think of all pregnancies as precious. You have to handle them like with too much care, and you have to be a communicator with them. In fact, in one of the pregnancies, the lady became so comfortable in the sense comfortable in a good way. Like she would share things. She would like let go. The stiffness has to go away. You can't be stiff and then perform yoga, because that yoga is going to backfire. You can't do yoga with an intention. I want to do a good downward dog. I want to do a good Uttanasan. You in pregnancy, you cannot or you should not be doing yoga with an intention. Now, Chat GPT has given, a list. Okay, this is how yoga asanas can be done,
Anirudh,
and
I
these are
can
the
share it.
things.
Anirudh, I
Yeah,
can share it on the
yeah,
screen.
yeah. I know, no, I know you will share it. It's your document, and but what they don't share is the intention behind it. And as Vineeta ji said, you have to be a communicator and a friend. So in fact, in one of the pregnancies, that girl became so pally and close, and she was looking forward to a yoga class every now and then. So one day I rang the doorbell, the mother-in-law opened, and she's telling that daughter-in-law, your friend has come. I said, no, I'm not a friend, I'm a yoga teacher. So this is the kind of rapport, I tend to create with my students. And the way we teach, or the way I teach, and the way hellomyyoga is going to bring this knowledge across, is that how many ever months, usually you never get 9 months with a student. uh, the first trimester, 1.5 1 month, or the early 3 4 weeks will only go in acceleration, will go in, kind of assessing, okay, my placenta is low lying, and they will take uh, so much self importance, hey driver, go slow on the bump, and very defensive. Your husband, you're not taking care of me, you're not holding my hand. Whereas in the first trimester, none of those things are needed because the fetus is so small. But still, we have to go slow with them. We have to see the reports, where is the placenta, what is the internal OS, what is the position. And of course, in the initial weeks, everything is low. Sometimes even the uterus and the cervix are too close to each other. So we have to have little, precaution. In the first trimester, our postures are very orientation in nature, in the sense they are not real postures. Like now, for example, if somebody has a low lying placenta and the doctor is saying, okay, you need to have bed rest. Now typically on the bed, what happens is, assuming this mat is the bed, and if I'm on the bed for a prolonged period of time, ultimately I'm going to be coming and sitting like this, eating my dinner like this, watching my TV like this. So I'm already unknowingly squeezing this area. I'm going to, in the subsequent weeks and months, I'm going to restrict the fundal length, and I'm going to bring my bladder and my uterus already up. So my diaphragm is squeezing. As Vineeta ji said, we have to do intercostal chest breathing because later on that diaphragm is just not going to work. And Iyengar Yoga is the only system which shows you ways and means to breathe into your chest. Rest, all the schools of yoga, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm not going into the calibrations of good or bad. But in almost all schools of yoga, when you inhale, the belly protrudes out. When you exhale, the belly moves in. Now, in a prenatal student, as it is, her belly is going to protrude, that lumbar arch is going to remain. So, if you're going to do more belly breathing, if she's able to do, but and you're still asking her to do more belly breathing, you're going to create a lot of sensitivity into the lower back and thereby cause domino effects of ill health later on. So this is all, like the kind of stuff in the first trimester. It is more orienting postures. Now most of the doctors, rightly so, because yoga is so much. Like some yoga is like this, some yoga is like this, some yoga is like this. Now I don't want to speak any names, but this is on YouTube, hence I'm speaking. The kind of prenatal yoga she's doing. Oh my God, I don't know how her baby didn't come early, but it's very scary, Means anyway, this is not yoga. In the name of yoga, you can sell anything if you're a celebrity. So we are going very scientifically. Our first trimester is like more orienting asanas, how to maintain the pelvic bowl over your shoulder, how to and once that pelvic bowl is over your shoulder, your breathing automatically becomes very calm. So you don't have to really take very effort to breathe very deep. So our first trimester is that. So, and then we keep on, of course, as the doctor gives us their reports. Now, also that's another problem. This is where Vineeta ji and Dr. Sharon, all their help will come in use, because in the student's mind, how will a yoga teacher know what to read? What they will know, what is my report? So this is the first conception that a patient has about a yoga teacher. Okay, he'll just arm up, trikonasana, downward dog. Okay, don't do navasan, don't hold your core, 3 4 things. Okay, and then go home. So but today they don't have, the patient doesn't have um, trust in the yoga teacher that they can read the report. So reading the report is of primary importance. Now also, many a times the patient or the student itself doesn't know where she is. Now we will ask her, okay, this is your first pregnancy. She'll say, yeah, I'm carrying my baby for the first time. But in the pregnancy report, it could be gravida 2. That means that first pregnancy didn't hold, but she's not considering that as first pregnancy. She's taking this second pregnancy as the first pregnancy. That is where we derive inference. Okay, she's gravida 2, so we have to be careful. What happened at gravida 1? Like there was a chromosome anomaly. At what week the baby went off? What was the issue? So with all those thoughts, we have to calibrate the yoga asana. Now, what we have designed in our module is we have given, say, we are doing trimester 25, for example, in the, week 25 in the second trimester. We have given 3-4 types of asanas. It doesn't mean all the 3 or 4 have to be done. So what is best suited for that lady, that girl, those set of asanas have to be applied. So just as Patanjali has given us 184,000 asana, it doesn't mean we have to do all. Like today, it's the Instagram world, and we see everyone doing everything. We say, okay, even we should do everything. But it's like a pharmacy shop. Yoga asanas are like a pharmacy shop. You only take the pharmaceutical products or tablets which are needed by you. Just because it's lying in the shop, it doesn't mean you need to take that. So this is our approach. And the way we have designed the module is the rectus abdominis is not going to hold in the third trimester. So we start to bring the strength of the psoas muscle. We start to bring the strength in the obliques. We start to see that your latissimus medius holds. So something is holding you, and nature has given that. And in fact, most of my students, postpartum, they look better than what they were to begin with. Now I tell my students why this has happened. So I take them 25 or maybe 55 years later from today, maybe 75 years later. So I think, Shivani, all our grandmothers may have had 7, 8 children. But today, every woman will say, oh my God, I'm expecting and my world is done. I don't want to have a second baby. So I tell them, ki, like, at that time, when India didn't have much food to eat, and we were not as so fortunate, and people used to eat the same meal day in, day out. We are changing our nutrition every week, every day, every evening. So when the baby is coming into the mother, even the baby is contributing to the mother's well-being by producing FMM. So the baby's fetal cells pass through into the mother, and somewhere the mother becomes okay in some way. That is how she can birth 7, 8 children. So like suddenly you will hear, I had fibroids. Now fibroids are not seen in 25-year-olds. Fibroids are seen in, usually, Dr. Vineeta ji, if I'm correct, on a little later age. And in many cases, you will say, oh, my fibroids also, either they were cut or they were healed, or they shrunk a little bit better than what they were. So this is all FMM. Every outgoing child or incoming child is feeding something back to the mother and going. And once the student is made aware of, many of my students say, this was my delivery. I said, yeah, this was your delivery. They say, let's go for a second one. I'm not joking. So the teaching, the methodology empowers the woman to create something beautiful for their life, for themselves, without getting into the mind that I'm losing something. It's not a loss. It's not a loss. So, and of course, I want my fellow women, my country, my women to have stronger births, stronger, better lives. And with this, of course, they don't need so much medication during their pregnancy. And with less medication, also you have incidence of less postpartum issues, less depression, and things like that. So this is how we have designed the module, to empower them And I encourage anyone to ask me anything under the sun, and I will make sure that I can answer it to your satisfaction. So, in case I want to show just one thing, like a downward facing dog is a fundamental asana in yoga, in any school of yoga. Yeah, also, it's very good in prenatal pregnancy. But when I'm going for a downward facing dog, and I am invariably using my arms and my shoulders, and I'm pushing my abdomen down, and I'm switching off my rhomboids. I'm switching off the rhomboid. Now in pregnancy, have a look. It is this. When we do downward facing dog, what we configure, I want to get my head down in any case. I want to get my head down in any case. This is the picture that we have in the mind. So there are Chat GPT will say downward dog, but it will not tell you the consequences. Like for everybody, downward dog can have a different manifestation. So how to get the downward dog down? You want to do a downward dog, but you do not want to go down. You want to rather come up, come up, come up, come up. So you're working on your entire myofascial sling, not just getting the chest down or then the teacher coming and pushing the chest down. So we want to use method in the asana. Just for the sake of pictorial asana, we don't want that to be done. So this is what we have tried to show. Yeah. Any more? Should I say something? I think I've spoken enough.
Yes, Anirudh. So Anirudh, absolutely, you have answered it so well. The way the methodology, the way the approach of module 2 is, because I remember we had a talk previously, and I wanted to specify that even the Chat GPT can create a yoga asana class. But what is the intention behind each asana? That approach, you get that training from Anirudh through module 2. So,
Now in Chat GPT, if you look, you will type, okay, you will go asana wise. You will ask for Vajrasana or Virasana in Chat GPT or Google it. You can everybody has phone. You can just kind of Google it right away, and it will say it is not recommended. But it is one of the most important asanas in pregnancy. So it will help you in gestational diabetes. It will help you in digestion. It will help you in countering the elevated HCG hormone. Now, in the first trimester, the bloating and all comes because of that HCG. HCG hormone is happening to hold your baby strong. So I tell them, if you can't eat, it's okay. That hormone is holding your baby. It is the Shrishti is not denying you hunger. It is holding you, hence you're feeling like that. Then you sit in Virasana or Vajrasana and take the arms up. Now this helps you to expand this area, creates space in the esophagus. The arm up action pushes the hiatus valve down, and sometimes when we have a low grade acidity, uh, the food doesn't go down. So you take some medications which like lesuride or something. It pushes the chyme towards the duodenum. It pushes the chyme. So this has the same effect, and all of a sudden that feeling of hunger or that bloating can be eliminated. So we are trying to uh, map our yoga asanas with medical science. We are not just saying do this loosely, do that loosely, and try to get a effect. We are saying this asana correlates with this issue or this medical thought, and that is our approach all throughout.
fantastic, Anirudh. Thank you so much. So yes, module 2 is very much each trimester, week by week, extensively worked by Anirudh on each asana and the alternatives of each asana, what you can teach to your students. So let's come to the module 3. Module 3 is Ayurveda for Pregnancy and Postpartum Wellness. It is by Dr. Sharon Samuel. She's an Ayurveda doctor and head of the Department of Gynecology at a leading Ayurvedic medical institution. Over 15 years of experience guiding 500 plus women through childbirth and postpartum care using Ayurvedic principles. Her expertise includes fertility and hormonal health, menstrual disorders, menopausal transitions, psychosomatic disorders, preventive and rejuvenative care through lifestyle modification. Let's welcome Dr. Sharon Samuel on the screen. Namaskar, Dr. Sharon.
Hi, Shivani. Namaskar to you too. Namaskar, everyone. So firstly, great. The beginning went off very well with you, Shivani. I know we're working afresh this time, and I'm really looking forward. After hearing Dr. Vineeta and Anirudh, I have a lot to learn from them, and I'm really looking forward to interactions with each one of them as the program progresses. So, like you said, I have been in this field of Ayurveda for 16 years now, and exclusively treating OBG cases through Ayurvedic protocols for almost 12 years now. So, the process of teaching postgraduate students of Ayurveda, specifically in OBG in Ayurveda, there's a lot of learning that happens in the process of teaching. And like Dr. Vineeta was saying, always keep your eyes and ears open because your students become your teachers and you keep learning every single day. And that's what's happening. And I think on the basis of that, even though I am not a yoga practitioner like a teacher, I am a learner. And I have been practicing yoga with my trainers here. And based on my patient experience, I think that's how I have created the curriculum with you, Shivani. So the idea is that Ayurveda doesn't really give you information about every single thing like we have in contemporary science, where everything is dissected into bits. That doesn't happen in Ayurveda. Ayurveda gives us more like a bird's eye view of the whole thing with logic in place so that you connect the dots and then use something called your yukti, which is your rationale as a human being based on your intellect, and then you apply it on the person. That is why they say it is not meant for the one with an average intellect, but it's meant for somebody who can think beyond. So though we may not have reached that level as Ayurvedic practitioners, we're constantly in the effort to get somewhere there. And based on that, we have the first few sections done where we teach. I'm trying to, expose the students to the idea of what Ayurveda has to say about obstetrics, that is about pregnancy and postpartum care, and about the fetal health, and what happens in the maternal maternal adaptations during pregnancy. So I'm just providing an idea of what Ayurveda has to say on the basis of doshas, dushyas, prakriti, vikriti, and everything that is taking the woman into consideration, and also the pregnancy into consideration, and also the environment she lives in into consideration. So once the student gets an idea about what Ayurveda has to offer, because of course, like Anirudh sir was saying, internet has so much information that it's very difficult to segregate what is right and what's wrong, especially about Ayurveda, because there's a lot of random content written by random people. And because ChatGPT is, it's just going to fetch you what's there, Ayurveda still doesn't have enough content for ChatGPT to refine and give you the best of what is there. So that way it's going to be very difficult for people to understand that. And so giving this perspective will help students try to figure out their own way of understanding the patient and applying Ayurveda for them, because Ayurveda doesn't give everything, doesn't spoon feed. Ayurveda is meant for you to think. So after they get the information from Dr. Vineeta, and then they try to understand the Ayurvedic perspective, and every student should be able to analyze and apply the knowledge. And also, second thing is, there's a very common misconception that Ayurveda and yoga are the same. So whatever yoga says, Ayurveda says, whatever. It's not the same. They work on similar principles, but it's not the same. So it would be good for them to understand where the differences exist. And because the similarities are very obvious, so where the differences exist and where they should not be using it synonymously, and how to make yoga work for them, and how to apply Ayurveda the right way. So that is also something that I'm very keen on educating them. And again, about when you said, well, I'm dealing a lot with preconceptional care, because I believe that that is where the beginning is, and that is beginning well begun is half done. So when we do the preconceptional care well, the journey becomes easy, and suddenly, like you like Lara Datta doing all those exercises, it doesn't happen like that. It's like the woman is much attuned to her body even before the pregnancy starts, so she knows where to push it, how much, and where not to do it as well, because Vata has a very important role to play in the health of the pregnancy. So though the baby would have come out on time, we still don't know what impact it could have on the neurological system of that adult as they grow up. So preconceptional care helps to prepare the patient, helps to understand the quality of the patient, so we can also define how to what extent the patient can, or this particular client or can go up to. So I focus a lot on preconceptional care because that determines the health of the placenta, that determines the entire 9-month journey. And Ayurveda puts a lot of focus on Garbhadhana. That's where Garbha Samskara begins, at Garbhadhana, where the Garbha begins. And there is plenty, I love to talk about it, so that has taken a major part here. And also at every stage, Ayurveda defines Garbha Vriddhi, which is the embryological development of the fetus in Ayurvedic view. And based on that, there is Garbhini Paricharya, that is based on how the embryological development is going on, you understand the maternal adaptation, and then you try to treat the woman based on what is going on in her body. So in this, there are, of course, dosha involvement is there, different doshas at different stages. And then there's dosha involvement, different tissues. Like, for example, there is a hypervolemic state of the blood. So we try to understand that, how that particular dhatu is impacted and how we can help at that stage, or where the atma is involved, where the manas is involved. For each month, for each element, they've given a particular role. So understanding that can help to fine-tune the asanas to help the patient. And so that's, again, based on Garbha Vriddhi. They will learn Garbhini Paricharya, so that at every phase, asanas can be taught with care and concern about what is going on in the mother primarily. And then also about Garbha Upadrava, which is abnormal pregnancies. So not all pregnancies are smooth. People, you don't hear a lot about the abnormal ones because it's done and dusted. Nobody wants to talk about them. But in today's world, because Dr. Vineeta rightly said, many women are entering into pregnancy at a very much later age. And recently I had done a write-up about that, where I was saying that if you are planning to get pregnant late, then prepare your body for it. Prepare towards that, so that you can avoid all these abnormalities of the fetus. And so here I will educate a little bit about what are the possible abnormalities that Ayurveda has listed out, and what can be done through Ayurvedic interventions, and also through yoga to support Ayurveda. And of course, all of this ends in a Sukha Prasava, which is a non-complicated spontaneous labor. And the goal is that, but also there has to be a line to until where the yoga practitioners can push their patients towards a normal delivery. So I also educate them about that possibility and where to draw the line and allow the patient to trust the doctor and go ahead with the cesarean section if need be, and also how to help the patient towards a normal delivery through breathing techniques and all of those things. So the underlying point is that the patient should understand yoga at its best, which is from yama niyama, going all the way, till where they want to go up to. And so it should start from there, yama, niyama, and pranayama. From there, it should begin from there, not just straight away, at the time, once the third month, fourth month, they come and say, I want to start prenatal yoga. Prenatal yoga is not a pill. It's not a supplement that you just pop in like that. And so you need to prepare yourself from yama, niyama, where you understand where and how to carry yourself as a pregnant woman, as a woman bearing a life within you, what you can do so that you can do the best through all these, because that is how yoga works. I feel just randomly moving your body and pushing yourself to doing this fast-paced yoga movements. Yoga focuses on isometric contractions. I believe it's about holding, and it's about holding that particular pose and then holding your breath and then allowing your mind and body to sink in that thing. So that is not done today, which is very against the whole principle of yoga, and that can be complications there. So just trying to give an overview about how it's important to understand all these elements within an Ayurvedic view of doshas and dushyas. And again, postpartum care is also very, just like preconceptional care, postpartum care is also very, very crucial, because postpartum care is about how the mother enters back into womanhood. Like you open the thing. Yeah, so that is where the time, because after pregnancy, women cease to be themselves. There is no coming back. So there has to be an adaptation there also, because most women are left by themselves. The new baby takes the limelight, and by the time the focus is back to the mother, it's already too late. The damage is done. So there's a focus on postpartum care in Ayurveda, where almost 45 days to up to, in some cases, up to 6 months of postpartum care is done, where we teach the mother how to care for herself in the process of caring for the baby. So Ayurveda puts a lot of emphasis there, where they say that returning back to pre-pregnancy state, where the shunyata, that is the emptiness in the woman's body and mind, is restored, and she's not feeling empty anymore. So we have to bring it back so that we can avoid all these postpartum blues, and we'll be focusing on that as well. So throughout this whole process, the idea will be to, because Ayurveda has a very, the understanding of Ayurveda is very, what to say, a little bit, like a mishmash mostly. So I want to give them the right idea of what Ayurveda has to speak about women, about pregnancy, about the newborn or the unborn baby and the newborn baby from the right angle with whatever I have learned through so many years and whatever I have seen in my patients through so many years. I would like to teach a little bit about that, so that all our participants are able to implement these things. And because there are too many yoga practitioners now, it's, if you have to be a standout, you need to know the authentic way of doing things. So that's my intention about doing this program with you and all of you here. I think that is the rest during classes we will see.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon Samuel. By this, our program comes to a full circle. And also, I have validated point 2, that how this program is clinically grounded. All the teachers have spoken about the real-time patients' challenges and how the digital world might have a lot of information. But when you trained under these teachers, you get to know what is right and wrong, meant for your students, how you have to customize for your patients, for your students, or the student walking in, how much the background you need to know about them so that you can customize their sessions. Thank you so much.